Well, I'm having a heck of a time with the Granada. I pulled it in here last night because I thought I heard a kind of a ticking noise like a loose rocker last time I had it running. So I figured I'd pull the valve covers off, adjust all the rockers, and paint the valve covers black. Just make them look halfway decent. So I go ahead, I pull off one of the valve covers, and what do I see? Let's see if I can get a light here so you can see a little better. I see green oil. Green oil is not good. So I went ahead and I checked the coolant. Of course, the coolant was low. Checked the oil. Oil was over full. So I pulled off the other rocker, same way. You can even see a little bit of foaming right there on that bolt. Not good. So I got coolant leaking in my oil somewhere. And first I thought, well, maybe I blew a head gasket. But no, I did a cylinder leak down check and nothing wrong, no bubbles in the coolant. I would have done a radiator pressure test, but I don't have the tool. So I figured it probably wasn't my head gasket, and then I remembered that this intake was loose at one time, and coolant may have been running through past the gasket into the valley and getting into my oil. So I think, oh, well, that's great. I'll just change the oil and see if it happens again. Well, I go ahead and crawl underneath it, drain the oil, try to remove the filter by hand. Of course, it didn't come. Grab my little filter wrench, and that didn't work. Crushed the filter. I put it a little further down on the filter, and of course, ripped a hole in it. So I'm thinking, oh, that's great. Well, I've seen them drive a screwdriver in there and turn it. So I tried that, and that didn't work. So I ended up taking a chisel and cutting all the way around here and taking this whole back part off, and that didn't loosen it. So I put my wrench back on just this little part, turned it, slipped off, didn't loosen nothing. So I took a punch I had, and I hit these holes, try to spin it off. Well, that didn't take it off either. So I grabbed my air hammer, and I went ahead, fired it up, and just gave her hell. And, wouldn't you know it, it didn't come off. It's still stuck on there. Let me see if I can get a good angle. There you go. There's the rest of the filter and my green oil. So now I'm going to try to take a razor blade and cut that little rubber piece that's behind the filter, this piece right here, and see if I can get it off. Now, I don't remember acquiring superhuman strength before I put this filter on, but I must have. I must have cranked that sucker down tight as hell. But I'll get it off eventually. But as I see it, on the bright side, my valve covers are nice and black. Well, I finally got it off. I found out why it was stuck. Turns out I didn't lubricate that O-ring. So there's a lesson for you. Always lubricate your O-ring. I must have forgot on this one, but I got it off. Looks like it's been through a war, but it's off. I didn't damage anything under the car. And there's my oil. I don't know if you can see that. It's got a nice green tint to it. Oh well. Guess that's a lesson for these cars. They always try to beat me, but I always win. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the oil change and put everything back together and see if it runs any better, at least, after my valve covers are all painted. Again, I win, car. You will never beat me. Well, I've got her all back together now. Valve covers are on, plugs are in, battery's back in, coolant's topped off, oil's topped off, should be ready to go. Let's see if it works. And if it doesn't, at least I've got nice, shiny valve covers. Well, she runs, I can say that much. Now I better look for leaks.